here's some research that came out from Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt. He pointed this out. He didn't do the research himself, but he pointed it out. He's a very well-respected doctor, and I respect very much his material. I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's curing people of Lyme's disease, Alzheimer's, and autism, etc. But he did some looking into the whole EMF, because he refused to treat a patient unless they remove the EMF from their life, because he can't fix them. He cannot cure their problems unless they fix the EMF situation, so turning off the Wi-Fi, etc., all that stuff. And one thing he said is there was an experiment done on a chicken coop, like a hen house. They were breeding, having eggs, creating eggs and all that stuff. And all these chicken coops, they had all these electronics installed to monitor them and to do all kinds of things. I don't even know what they're doing, but it was heavily affected by EMF, both places. In one place, they put up shungite, orgonite, all kinds of crystals, quantum this and quantum that, and scattered it all over the chicken coop. And what happened is that the chickens that didn't have any protection, they were not happy chickens, and they were kind of avoiding areas. They didn't want to sleep in certain areas, and they were definitely not laying eggs in certain areas. And the other chickens that had all this orgonite and shungite, all that stuff, they were happily running around, laying eggs everywhere and sleeping anywhere. And the egg laying over there was double the amount of the egg laying of the chickens that did not have any protection. But they continued the experiment. And so after 5 years, they checked on the chickens. And all the chickens that had this protection were dead. They all died. The other chickens were still alive. They produced half as much as these chickens in the beginning, but at one point these chickens that were healthy and with protection and all stuff, the production went down and they started dying like flies. So the sad story is that a lot of this orgonite and shungite and all stuff, and I'm a big believer in shungite, meaning I've been using shungite for many years for water purification, etc. I am wearing a shungite pendant, etc. And when I put it on, I feel better when I'm sitting in front of a computer, etc. But that is not a guarantee that you're not going to get, sapped and get cancer, etc. So when it comes to solutions, we have to think this through. We cannot just rely on some esoteric story telling us that. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that really, really would love to sell you all these things, very expensive devices, but it's not going to protect you. What is going to protect you is to turn off the Wi-Fi, put LAN cables, and ground yourself, and turn off all the breakers in the house when you sleep at night, grounding bed sheets, etc., etc. And we're going to be talking about all that. But this is the first wake-up call. So when you talk about solutions, keep this in mind. If I can make a phone call on this, even though I put a sticker in the back, quantum some solution something, if I can sit and talk, it will damage me. The signal is there, it's going through. There's no scientific evidence that you are going to live a longer life if you put all these gadgets on your computers and your phones, etc. So protect yourself by being a scientist. Go into the physics of things. Avoid the contamination, the point of contamination, first of all. Second of all, shield yourself, etc. We're going to go into it much more, but this is one thing I wanted to talk about with solutions.